Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vikas Jain LIVE Show. In this episode, we have a very unique guest speaker, Anup Kalbalia, who is going to cover insights about International Collegiate Programming Contest (ICPC). Welcome, Anup, to Vikas Jain LIVE Show.
Thank you, Mr. Vikas. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks again. And for the benefit of our audience, let me give you a quick background about Anup. Anup is a strategic advisor to ICPC representing India. He has more than 20 years of experience in the software field and previously worked with NavGurukul, CodeChef, 3i Infotech, and more. Anup is passionate about equity, computer science education, and leveraging technology for the social good. He specializes in building and growing technology team, strategizing and running outreach programs, and has a deeper understanding of the computer science education space in India. Anup, my first and foremost question for you would be that how that transition happened. People who are into the space of software engineering, they pursue their own career. So how that transition happened that you wanted to teach others or help others to develop that skill?
Uh, that's a very interesting question. I wasn't really anticipating this, but I don't think there is a transition that was designed. It was just that I think we all love teaching at some point in time, right? अगर हमें कुछ पता है, if we know something, we would want our other people to know that thing. And I became a part of CodeChef not so much by design. It was more of a coincidence that I joined a company which started CodeChef in 2000. This was in 2009. That's how I became a part of CodeChef. And the thing that went very well there was that uh, I came from the same kind of community that CodeChef tried to cater to. When I was in
Okay.
college, I did not. I participated in ICPC, and my team did not really do very well. And when you don't do very well and and you have that regret that arey yaar, you could have done better, then you think ki, how can you do it, how can people like you not do the same mistakes again, how can they do better than what you did?
Got
So
it.
CodeChef was
Got it.
exactly catering to my kind of students, uh, to make them, give them a path, make them more resources about how you can learn problem solving skills. So that was I was privileged. I can say that it came to me rather than me chasing it. And from there on, it was just a job, right? 12 years you do the same thing, then you start seeing the problems that exist. I was also very lucky to be exposed to the social sector, which most of the software engineers don't get access to. And I think that made me realize my privilege a lot more than what usually I was exposed to till then at that point in time. And then you realize, yeah, if you know so much, you can do so much. See, there is no end to learning. It's not that
True.
I know everything. I don't know probably even 10% of what exists today. But whatever I know, and I know other people who know, right? If we can build an ecosystem through them to provide that knowledge to those people who do not have access to that knowledge, I think that itself is very empowering and very gratifying. So
Yes,
yeah,
that
it
sounds
wasn't
great.
really one one strategy, one design. It just happened, I think. Yeah.
But whatever happened, I think happened for a good, that so many forces aligned. So now coming to the ICPC, for the benefit of audience, what is exactly ICPC? We have heard the full form is written up there, but what is exactly
Yeah.
ICPC?
ICPC is the International Collegiate Programming Competition, as mentioned. It is like the Olympics of programming for college going or universities going students. It is the most prestigious competition, like Olympics is to any athlete, any sports person who wants to go and perform at the highest stage at the global arena, right? So that's the Olympics for you. Similarly, for programming students in colleges and universities only, not for high school, not for school, but those who are in high school, um, for them, ICPC is the most prestigious programming competition. It is the oldest competition. It has been happening for more than 40 years now, and every year, different teams from different countries. I think close to 70,000 teams from different countries participate. in this competition in the first round. And then there are regionals that happen across different parts of the world. And from the regionals, the best teams get selected to go to the world finals, which happens in a very, very grand way in a different country every time. It's a team competition as well. You
Okay.
cannot participate in it individually. You have to form a team of three people in the same from the same college to take part in this competition. The
Okay.
best thing that I like about the competition is that okay, I'll probably talk about it later, but they give you balloons if you solve a problem. They give you balloons, which is
Oh,
my
nice.
favorite part of the competition. And this was one competition that I am very emotionally connected to, because as I told earlier, that when I was in my college way back in 2002 and 2003, my team got selected for this competition. And when we went there, we really could not do really well. We were the best team in our college, but at ICPC we could only solve like one problem spread across 2 years. So yeah, I want more people to kind of get exposure to this. So that's what, in a nutshell, ICPC is. Yeah.
Okay, great to know about that. So, is it a privately held event? Because nowadays, lot many companies are promoting competitive programming and these kind of competitions. So, is it a privately held thing or something bigger than that?
So when ICPC started way back in 40 years ago around, it was started by Baylor University. It was
Okay.
started by a university, and ACM was a co kind of organizer for this. ACM is the Association of Computing Machinery, which is a very reputed science and research organization,
Yes.
right? So they were associated with it for a long time, more than 30 years. I think ACM kind of pulled back a few years ago, and it is still being run by the Baylor University, but it has gained a lot of repute. It is not a for-profit initiative. It is a foundation. ICPC. It is run by the ICPC Foundation, and yeah, in terms of the structure, I think that's what I know about it. In
Okay.
terms of reputation, it is by far the most prestigious one. Uh, every university in the world kind of recognizes this, and
Okay.
they have most of the universities in the world want to take part in this competition. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think this year also you went to the world finalists. So, would you like to share your experience? How was it, and what all teams went to the competition? How many teams represented India?
Oh yeah. So this year I happened to be there at the World Finals, which was held in Kazakhstan, in Astana. Astana is the capital city of Kazakhstan. It keeps happening in different countries every year. And there were 140 teams from from different countries. The highest number of teams, if your audience wants to take a guess, probably they can, but they were from China. And there were 19 teams from China out of 140 teams. And India also had a very good representation. India had 11 teams uh, from from different colleges. Out of these 11, I think uh, two, 10 teams were from different IITs or triple IT, and one
Okay.
team was from BITS Pilani. And it was a very grand competition. It has come a long way from when we used to participate, and there was a lot of facilities and all of that. But it was also a very well organized competition. So we had around 12 problems, out of which I think the team that won. So in this competition, there are top four teams win the gold medal. The next four teams
Okay.
win the silver, and the next four teams win the bronze medal.
Okay.
Unfortunately, India has never won a medal here. So though we like to keep calling ourselves IT superpower, unfortunately, when it comes to competitions like this, where we have to solve algorithmic and mathematical, so these competitions require a lot of problem solving. When I say problem solving, I mean like problem solving that requires knowledge of algorithms, data structures, and discrete mathematics. So these are
Okay.
essential to be able to solve these problems, and they're quite language agnostic. It's not so much about knowing a language, though the competition only happens in 4 or 5 different languages: C, C++, Python, Java, and Kotlin. But Most of the competitive programmers use C++. But coming back to the World Finals, right? So there were
Yeah.
the best performance by an Indian team was probably rank 55 or something. This was the best rank by an Indian team. So it's not a very happy competition for somebody like me who is an Indian to go there and see our teams perform. But it's good to see how different teams are doing. Uh, yeah. So it
Okay.
was fun. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of balloons around.
No, I totally understand. Being Indian, we definitely want our team to be on the stage when during the award. But I still feel that okay, people who participated, they are preparing on their own and they are getting there. Getting there in itself is a big thing. When looking it from a different perspective, that there are 140 teams only from different countries and then 11 participating from our country. But yes, that's the objective, that how we can work together so that we get to a better positioning, better stage. So like you mentioned that it's kind of Olympics for computer programming. But Anup, my follow up question would be regarding uh, people are more career oriented. So one is that aspirational part of winning a competition, but how does it help in their career? Like if somebody is actually pursuing, lot many people in India, lot many engineering students are there who are pursuing computer science and that education. So do you see any correlation that while if we pursue us, if someone seriously give it a thought about this competition, can it help in their career as well?
Yeah, yeah, very much. In fact, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but unfortunately or fortunately, performance at ICPC is directly related to getting a job in some of the top product companies in the world. So there used to be something called FANG. I think that has changed to Mang after Facebook changed its name to Meta. So all these
Yes.
companies love to hire anybody who goes to the World Finals almost kind of has a guaranteed seat in one of these companies. So even though Indian teams don't do very well at the World Finals, the teams who actually go there are still I think almost everyone is placed in very, very good companies. So most companies, what do they look at? Most product companies, they look at this one skill, and this has become a very, very easy hiring tool for every product company, right? Because you organize a competition. Competitive programming is has been, I think, in the last decade, it has become a favorite tool for every single product company to easily shortlist candidates, at least in the first round. Uh,
Okay.
it is low cost for them as well. And for most colleges in India, most teams in India, they aspire to do competitive programming, not really to get that medal there. And that is one of the reasons why I think we don't do very well at the once we get selected for the World Finals. We don't very to do very well at the World Finals because, to be honest, in a country like ours, people have aspirations to get a job. That is a much bigger aspiration than really doing very well, in a competition. So
Okay.
yes, to answer your question, it is definitely, it helps in getting good jobs. Directly proportional, at least at the moment. I know maybe how things will change after AI kind of comes into the picture. We'll see. But so far, competitive programming has been a very, very good hiring tool for product companies and for a lot of students. In fact, it has also played a level playing ground for a lot of tier 2, tier 3 colleges. Earlier, these good product companies would only go to IITs, but we have seen in the last decade or so where a lot of tier 2, tier 3 students are also getting a job in a Google or a Facebook or a Microsoft or Amazon or Netflix or whatever, because they are good competitive programmers. I'm not saying every good you need to only do this to get a job at these companies, but if you do this, the likelihood of you getting into get a good company is higher.
So it's a advantage in both manners. So once a student is participating and preparing for ICPC, definitely they will work on something which will make them ready for the product company. So to whatever extent they are able
Yes.
to prepare themselves, technically it is going to benefit them in the long term itself, right? So it's
Yeah,
good to
even
know
if we
that
don't
part.
look a very Yeah, I want to add there, even if we don't look at the extremely transactional nature of ki abhi, if I do it now, I will get a job at Google. Even if you eliminate that job part, if you do it well, you learn a lot of skills that are directly useful in your software engineering career,
Yeah.
right? You know how to read the specifications well. You know how to translate your ideas into code very well in a very time-bound manner. And your entire ability to translate your ideas into code is so fast, which is very useful. And your understanding of data structures is very well. So all these things actually happen when you are needed when you build uh, complex solutions to large scalable engineering problems. So there is a direct
And
relationship. Yeah, yeah.
I can so correlate with this thing with my background. So I transitioned from a
Mm.
service based company to a product based company in my career itself.
Uh,
And this year only I was
yeah.
a speaker at IIT Roorkee. And when I was talking to
Uh-huh.
students, they told me that IIT Roorkee has some 1,300 students combined all branch, and out of them more than 50% are preparing for competitive programming just because they know that it is a way to crack a product based company. So
Yeah,
those
yeah,
correlations are so strong, but for some reason
yeah.
people are not aware. And I think that is the purpose of this podcast, that more and more people get to know about the fundamentals that can help them get better job and become a better software developer. So what is required to get there? How one can participate, and what are the coming dates? So could you share more
See,
information
for
about that part?
yeah, this year ICPC is happening in three regional sites in India. There are three sites in India which are conducting the regionals of ICPC. One is Kanpur University, one is IIITDM in Chennai, and one is Amritapuri Vishwa Vidyalaya, Amritapuri College of Engineering. Basically, they have three
Okay.
campuses: one in Coimbatore, one in Bangalore, and one in Kollam in Kerala. So they are a multi-site. So students have an option to opt for any of these three sites. They will, if they want to take part in ICPC, obviously they need to know a little bit of competitive programming. I talk to a lot of students and they say that Bhaiya, right now I'm not very confident. I'm not ICPC is such a big competition. I'm not prepared enough to participate. I would urge every student, and I tell them also, see, if you are even if you're not prepared, the only thing you lose by taking part in this competition this year is that registration fee ka paisa, hai na, which is probably which is 1100 rupees for a team of three members. So one person around 400 rupees. Uh, so that's the money that you lose. But what you gain कि इसकी अभी 10 दिन बचे हैं. So 10 days, I think not even 10 days, 7 days बचे हैं अब. So within these 7 days, you get to अब कुछ है. If there is a deadline, you work hard towards it, even if you're not prepared, right? मतलब आपको पता है कि you will not be able to fully learn this, but you will still
Yes.
strive to do better. Plus the exposure that you get. आपको if you do very bad, you will know at least कि where I stand. And next year ke liye you will know much better way to prepare. So your preparation starts now for next year, even if you're doing it. But if you don't do it now, then next year around the same time you will think, "Arey yaar, I'm not very prepared. Let's do it next year." So I suggest everyone to prepare, even if they are well, sorry, to participate even if they are not prepared. How you can participate is form a member of form a team of three members from your college. They can be your friends, they can be your juniors, they can be your seniors, they can be anybody. You don't need to, there is no rule that they have to be from the same year. They can be
Okay.
different from different years. A lot of people say, sir, I don't have a team, so I can't participate. Why don't you have a team? You're studying in a college. Nobody gets into a college with a team, right? Nobody is born with a team. So you create a team. So you go and you find students who do well. Go to your first year students. That will be very good if you do. If you don't have a team in your current year or your seniors don't want to take you, you become that senior who wants to take the junior students, right? You form a team, form a good team, and then start preparing different topics, distribute the topics, start preparing for it. Register immediately. The last date of registration is actually today for the regionals, but we will probably extend it by a few more days. I will request the RCDs to extend it to 11th or 12th, and we'll do that. But go and register, right? Register for this event, form a team. Now there is a slight catch. The registration process is slightly cumbersome. So you have to find a coach in your university. The coach has to be a faculty. That coach has to go and open an account on the icpc.global website, and then the coach will be able to register teams, and one coach can register any number of teams from the college. There is no restriction on the number of teams that can be registered from a college. So ideally, when I was at CodeChef and I used to go and visit colleges, I would say if one college has 60 students in a computer science batch, then they should form at least 20 teams. And that's the maximum number of team that you can make. मतलब हर किसी को, every computer science student should be participating in this competition, right? So
Yes.
go and register, form a team. Once you register on the global site, then you come to the, so you can also, one information I missed saying. So one team can technically take part in two different sites. So you have higher chances of qualifying. So you register for two different sites. There is an online contest that happens first. The online contest will happen on 16th of November at 6 p.m. Today there is a practice round at 6 p.m. There will be another practice round on 14th of November, just for the registered students to get used to the platform. And in that practice round, based on which site you registered for, the practice round, sorry, in that online round on 16th, that will be a common round for all the three sites. So based on which site you registered for, you will have, if you register for two sites, you will come in two different rank lists. So each site will have a rank list, and the top few teams from each rank list will be invited to go to their on-site regionals. Now, this on-site regionals is a great place to be. India's some of the best programmers will be there, and it's like a festival of programming. ICPC, that's how I see ICPC. It's like the festival of programming, the biggest festival of programming, right? So you go there, you meet them. It's a great place to make friends. It's a great place to, just interact. Or even if you are not an introvert, just look at them. What are they doing? Even if you don't like talking to them. So the idea is be there and participate. Even if you fail, it is all right. You will know how much to improve, and that is very important, to know how much to improve.
Yeah.
So there are coming to the dates. Um, I'll repeat them. The registration
Yeah.
actually finishes today, but we will extend it by at least 2 days, maybe 3 days. I can assure you that. So you first register on the global site. Then there are instructions given on the regional sites. We can share the links in the comments about the registration process. There is a document that we can share. I can give it to you later, and we can share it here. And
Okay.
once they register, then they need to pay the fee. Then the RCDs, the regional contest directors of each site, will approve your team, and then we will send you the credentials to participate. Once you participate, based on the rank, you will be invited to the on-site. The on-site will happen in December. Now, each of these three on-sites will happen on different dates, so they are not on the same date. So you can actually travel to two different sites if you get selected. And a lot of team in India actually get selected on two different sites, and they go to travel to two different sites. Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like people have to be really agile, and which is the need of the hour. Actually, as a software engineer, also technically, when they will be in the industry, they have to build team. Nowadays, scenarios is like
Yeah.
for good product companies, they are also having behavioral round. They are asking people that how do they good they are at building teams and working with teams. So by doing this effort, they are also developing that one skill, which is about the soft skill and the team building part. And second is the agility part. We all understand that even if you haven't got to know that how you about this competition and dates are very close by within 1 or 2 days, but it will show your agility. And I think especially our college students have that agility. Anyhow, they are preparing even for the exam just 2 3 days before the exam. So I think if they show this agility, and as you just mentioned, what they have to lose is just 400 rupees. What they can gain is enormous things, right? And for their benefit, I've shown a Telegram group and also given my mobile number. So in case anyone is looking for all that, any help, any link, I can share them with the that kind of support. So Anup,
Yeah.
I would like to ask a follow-up question. I was talking to few people and they were of the opinion that uh, because the benchmark is really high, how to get the support? Like can they talk to
Uh,
previous participants, previous teams? Is there any support group?
uh,
So what can be done in that manner?
See, we are trying to build a community, but I got into ICPC after 3 years. When I was in CodeChef, we used to have a very, very good support group. So there are Even now, I believe there are a lot of these discussion forums that different competitive programming website has. So there are some of
Okay.
the, in fact, competitive programming is very popular and there are so many platforms to choose from. So people are spoiled for choices. So if you look at it, Code Forces. So Code Forces has a brilliant blog, right? In that blog, people write so much. So you need to go and read, whatever. See, if you are facing a problem today, somebody has faced it earlier. It's very
Yeah.
hard that your problem is a unique problem which nobody has faced. So the
True.
best place to find support is to look through these forums. CodeChef has a very good forum called discuss.codechef.com. Codeforces has a good blog. Different Lead Code has a forum where you can go and ask questions. So forums are great places to go and ask questions. And then there are a lot of these Telegram groups these days. So I'm sorry, I in my days there were no Telegram groups, but there are a lot of these Telegram groups these days where people can ask questions. Formally, from ICPC India side, right now we do not have a lot of support group. We have a whatever Telegram group that you have shared. It is mostly to solve registration based doubts or participation based doubts.
Sure.
For getting bet for getting better, there are lot of pathways. So there are these a lot of these YouTube influencers who teach very well or who guide you very well in terms of how to get started, right? I know personally there is this person called Striver. His YouTube videos are quite good. I have recommended them to a lot of people to learn data
Okay.
structures, to learn how to solve problems. And then there are these problem tracks also. Lead Code has a very nice set of problems. So if you solve them one by one, you basically keep improving up the ladder, right? So there are tons of material out there in terms of wanting to get support. Getting one-on-one mentorship is a hard thing to do. It's not easy, right? Because that so don't look for that what you can also the best thing you can do is start reading. I know attention spans have gone down these days for most of us. We like to just watch
Yes.
videos or reels, but it's very important to read, and there is so much good content available to read, right? If you are self motivated, I don't see there is a problem of getting support in competitive programming. Last decade we have seen huge number of resource in competitive programming, right? And some of the discussion forums have very good community. I remember when we I was a part of CodeChef till 2021. Discuss.codechef.com used to be very very active. Lot of good material. If you are facing a problem, just go and search there. Somebody must have faced it problem and asked it before, and somebody must have answered it there as well. But
Okay. Got
over
it.
a period of time, by the next year, we are trying to build again a community where there is a larger support.
True, true. And the idea of doing this podcast was to spread this information so that we can build that community and create some WhatsApp group and support group so that people can be there. But as Anup mentioned, friends, one thing is that people who are really successful in competitions like ICPC or any competitive programming, I usually see they have a very strong one skill, which is I call eclaveism. And eclaveism is all about deep self learning. So we have to uh, get remove that mindset that there will be a class 30 people sitting, or there is a coaching program some 500 people sitting and somebody is teaching and that's how they will crack ICPC. I think that's not the ideal way. Ideal way is that on a discrete manner you will get all those videos and support, but you have to become an eclavier, a person who can develop the deep self learning skill, and then only I think you can compete at that level. Otherwise people who are taught competitive programming will get to a certain level but not at the world's best level. What do you think, Anup?
No, I think that's obviously the very, very important, right? Self-learning, you can go uh, deep only if you learn, but if you put in those hours, if you put in those that hard work on your own, somebody can just guide you at max. But मेहनत तो आप ही को करनी है, right? Fight तो आप ही को मारनी है. And so I totally agree to it. And I think a lot of a current crop of students, they have advantage of the AI coming in. Now, how you use the AI is also very important, right? Ab contest, there is a contest happening. You copy paste the problem, or you're solving a problem even in practice section. You copy paste the problem um, on the AI and Chat GPT. You give the problem and you say, "Give me the solution." Now, obviously, Chat GPT will be able to solve easier problems as of now, maybe harder problems even later. But
Yep.
what are you learning? ChatGPT is learning, right? So that's not how AI should be used. If you use AI in a right way, if you ask them the questions that you ask your teacher, if you ask them the questions that you ask your mentor, right? How to approach this problem, right? What topics should I learn to be able to solve this problem? You copy paste the problem, that is fine, but ask them the right questions, right? What are the resources that I can read to be able to learn the concepts that may help me in solving this problem? Okay, I'm not yet there. Are there any bridge topics that I need to learn to be able to solve it? And I think the kind of responses that we are getting from AI, the kind of articulation that AI is giving us, and we don't have to write everything formally. Even if we use the discussion forums, I have to write everything formally. My grammar has to be right. My sentence construction has to be right. AI has taken that away from us. Even if I
Yep.
write something haphazardly, the AI is giving us good responses, right? And it is guiding us. So I think that is something huge, and it is only going to get better from here. So learning
Yeah.
has become much more personal, much more easier than what it used to be
True.
earlier.
True. And one of
Yeah.
the change that I also see happening is, for example, to build one software earlier might be 100 developers are required. Now probably 3 developers or 5 developers can at
Mm.
scale build those things. So it does not mean that the programming mindset that one is going to learn in the ICPC is going to get irrelevant. It's that probably it will increase their scope. AI is going to increase the scope. So right now, let's bring up the focus again on ICPC, that this is something really great which can be helpful immediately. If somebody just register, they will get a different kind of exposure. If they perform well, it is going to help them, and if they perform and get to that level of world's best, definitely it is going to enhance their job prospect as well. And anyhow, that pathway of ICPC is quite in coherence with the selection criteria of anyways product based companies. So to whatever extent a person is able to climb that ladder, it is directly going to help them in their job hunt, which primarily is the target of most of these people. So thank you, Anup. Thank you for sharing all the interesting insight for our viewers about ICPC. I'm sure, I wish all the very best luck for people who are participating in the competition. And I think that's the responsibility even for the people who have participated, that how they can mentor others. So mentoring is also one of the critical ingredients of any learning process. So probably if more and more people can come out and start mentoring other people, nowadays forming a WhatsApp group technology has given us that advantage, then things can go viral in a very quick manner. And I think from the whole India perspective, it brings up that opportunity to things which were not available earlier. So Anup, as you mentioned, that earlier product based companies were only going to the elite institutions. Now ICPC kind of competition is giving the outreach to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 institution, that students from there also, if they showcase that skill, so skill is the only criteria, that is the only truth. And if they perform well, they can get to a higher level of pedestal. So I think that creates a lot of opportunities from India tech talent perspective as a whole. What do you think about that, Anup?
So definitely, I think what you said is very, very true. There is there is so much accessibility now. I cannot say that okay, I'm in tier three college, so I do not have opportunities. Competitive programming, at least in the last decade or two, has changed that significantly. I can say that about a lot of other streams. I can say that about a non-computer science engineering stream, right? But in computer science engineering, at least accessibility has significantly increased. Obviously, there are barriers. There are still very few women teams participating. That is one thing that I did not actually, I completely forgot. I don't know how I missed that. So in the 11, I'm sorry, I'm going to take another minute of yours time
Sure,
to
sure. Good.
mention
Yes.
this. So at the ICPC World Finals, out of the 11 teams that went from India, not a single person was a woman. Out of the 420 and or 440 teams, members, 140 teams, 420 members, there were only 20 female participants at the World Finals. So as we see, though we talk about accessibility, how competitive programming has made opportunities more accessible, but that is also to a very
Yes.
specific gender. Yeah,
Yeah.
women programmers are still not getting that access. A lot of a lot of students, the male students, and even some of the female students think that just because they have access to the same resources, or they are going to the same college, right, or they are going to the same, they have the same facilities that they are getting. So a lot of them think that the accessibility is the same, and which is not the case actually. If you look at any
Okay.
programming club, they are very boys spaces. We have not created spaces where a woman student feels very comfortable to come and be a part of it, and that needs to happen. So that as a whole needs to happen. What we have tried as a very small step, obviously this is not going to change a lot of things, we are not expecting a huge change to come from this, but a small step that we have tried at ICPC this year is we have given specific slots. So there are 5 slots in Kanpur site, 5 slots in Chennai site, and 10 or 10 to 15 slots in Amritapuri site, specifically for women team. We want more women team to participate and
Oh, that's
feel
great.
that they belong. Yeah, we want them to feel that they belong, and it is not just a boys club. There are a lot of women whom I
Yeah.
know have done amazingly well in the past in programming. And I can give tons of examples, but we are running short of time, so I'll not go there. So we need to create and push, more inclusivity, more diversity in programming as well. So that is one area we need to work very badly. Obviously, we need to improve India's performance at the World Finals. So, but yes, opportunities have definitely improved. Tier 2, Tier 3 colleges or colleges which are not IITs, basically, they are also getting access to opportunities now. Um, so
Okay.
that is one good thing that has happened. By the way, there is another good piece of news that has just now came to me. Is IIT, sorry, not Kanpur University has already extended the registration date to 11th of November. I
Wow. So
requested
we
them
have
to do
two
it
more
till
days.
12th. They can't. Yeah, we have 2 more days for registration for ICPC. So in case somebody is still making up their mind, please go ahead and register. It's a great competition to be a part of. Even if you don't feel prepared, don't worry about it. 7 days ki fight marlo.
Yes, and true. And
Yeah,
I think parents who are watching this show right now, I'm sure there must be some parents who are watching this show. I think they can inspire their kids on the same regard that it is quite an important. Even if they show some resistance, probably parents can also push them that technically, if they participate, probably if they just participate, that's the first thing for next 2 days that you should participate and whatever happened. But there is nothing worse than losing just 400 rupees per person, right? So that's the minimum minus that can happen, and what plus can happen, it's enormous. Great.
I just wanted to also highlight there 400 may not be a very small amount for a lot of people out there in our, especially in a country like ours. But those who can afford, at least they should not really, stop back from participating. Those who cannot, yes, you can prepare better and you can, do it probably the next time. But yeah, these days anyway, college fees is so high that 400 looks a small amount to us. But I know now that I have been exposed to the social sector, there are so many students in India who for whom probably this amount is also a very high amount. Maybe something for us to do next year.
Yeah, sure, sure. And yes, definitely we can do, and probably ICPC as a whole, ICPC India community as a whole can do something for these people as well. In case they can't afford 400, definitely some scholarship and something based on their performance can be planned in that manner. But there are a lot many other students for
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
because I have been a speaker, so I have had those conversations that when colleges student unions are inviting speakers, they say that we are a student union, but in evening there are gala nights and all the rock star speaker singers are there delivering charging lakhs of rupees are uh, at those gala nights. So I think it's a matter of choice as well. I think I somewhat see especially at that young level there is a choice difference that coexists, but it's a personal choice. Definitely nobody can push that even harder. So in case somebody was not knowing, at least this podcast will help them having that awareness that at least go for this pathway. That is a pathway that it's a win-win-win situation. There is nothing that you can't lose. To whatever extent one move ahead, they are going to gain something. And with that insight, Anup, I would like to take this podcast for closure today. You shared many beautiful insights, though you were not that well today, but still you took out time, took out effort. That shows your commitment for the ICPC community. So thanks again. Any last message before we close for today?
No, thank you for inviting me to this. Yeah, I am. And no, I just want to kind of tell your audience whatever you do, do it in the best way that you can. And ICPC is just one of the opportunities, but it's a great opportunity. If you are a computer science student, try and take part. Don't think कि ना ये ना हो पाएगा हमसे. That's it. That's it. All the best. Yeah.
That's the last message. Don't think ye na ho payega. Do whatever best you can do in the given time with given preparation, and there is nothing to lose. So, with that message, thanks everyone for watching the podcast right now. And in case you are going to watch this podcast later point of time, do share in your thoughts, your question in the comment box, and we'll make sure that we'll collate them and form a community, because this is kind of a movement that India is waiting for last 20 years. We have seen the growth of services company. So when people talk about IT, majority of the people are only aware about the potential of the IT services, but what we are talking about is the product potential that is probably the 10 time more than what we have seen in the past. So I think this is a moment. Let's ICPC India make it really big and get to see at least in top 20 next year. With that, thanks Anup, thanks for sharing your side, and thanks audience for your beautiful time that you spent today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.